Hey, my friend, do you think that good sex is an indicator of a good marriage? If your wife is blessing you with good, satisfying daily lovemaking, good for you. But keep listening because you can learn something that might be surprising to you. Of course, sexless marriage is not a good indicator. And many people start to address this problem. Many psychologists are trying to help, therapists to help and to address this problem in the couple. And also on YouTube, you have a lot of videos on YouTube and other social media that explain, the negative effect of a sexless marriage in women, in men, in the relationship dynamics as a whole. And also I put some focus on this problem to educate men that are in difficult marriage, that also considering the amount of sex that they have, because sometimes they just forget that that's something that it's important in the relationship. Now, some source, besides sexless doesn't mean never, means less according to the psychology, standard, less than 10 times a year. So if you have sex once a month and maybe skip the vacation month, it's already too little sex to be considered a healthy relationship according to psychologists. Now, some sources say that 15% of the couple are sexless, and psychology today estimate between 25 and 50. So they don't even have a clear idea how spread this problem is. So if you consider that 50% of the divorce, depend on the statistic again, it could be 45, it could be 50% of the marriage end in a divorce. If you consider the other 25 to 50 are sexless, love, what we call making love, it's really dead now. So, but this is not your problem, because we said at the beginning that your wife is blessing you with regular sex and love making, so this is not your problem. So, something that I'm learning the last 6-7 months of doing, practicing coaching and support group is that, many people who whose wife left, are divorced, or they were, they broke up, they claim they had good sex. And so where is the imbalance here? There is something that is not matching up. So the sex is not an indicator of a good relationship. I don't think, probably not, because some people do, let me go step by step. One the people that I met in the support group, I won't tell who is him, it's private matter. He said that years ago, probably 20 years ago, he was speaking with his, I don't remember if it was his sister or his sister-in-law, but I think it was his sister, because why your sister-in-law want to know what is your sex life, and your sister, her sister sex life. So probably it was his sister. He said, how often you have sex with your wife? He said, daily, something that is not contested, so it must be true. Oh, okay. So this guy, his wife, 2 or 3 years ago left in a dramatic way. So she left, she cursed him, and she criticized him a lot, and it was a pretty sad the way she left and how he left this guy. And there's a lot of the background. That was really sad. So this guy was trying to find some closure, and also trying to get some support from his family. And so probably he asked, that's why it was his sister, because otherwise. So he asked, her sister, while listening to him, trying to comfort him, yeah, that's why your marriage failed, because you had sex every day. And say, what the hell are you talking about? Why did you tell me 20 years ago that every day was not good? So I'm not saying that every day is not good. It's just that sometimes, even if your wife and man, they have sex, probably they don't have sex for the good reason. They have a mechanical sex. And imagine this situation. So sometimes you get home, your wife think that you are neglecting her, or you are ignoring her. You just, try to, get your mind off of your job and getting your family time. So you need some minutes of transition. She's mad. Then probably she talks back and you answer back. And then there is some disagreement. Then you go to bed, tired. You have some, you touch her and she touch you and you start lovemaking. And then you think that, okay, now she forgave me, or now she's not mad anymore, we're good. And then the next day you don't address the issue because you thought that the sex was good. So sometimes sex is good, and then 20 years later, or 10 years later, or 3 years later, you are blindsided that your wife left, or your wife was resentful toward you, or your wife, say that she didn't even like the sex that because she thought that you were forcing her to have sex and so on. So really, this is a very important topic that we need to address. We need to learn to avoid, the taboo behind sex and try to talk about. This is do you like the way we're doing? Do you want to do it differently? Do you want to do more? And if you're in a sexual life, you need to say, hey, this is important. If this, I'm not satisfied, I'm satisfied. Something that needs to be addressed. Now I'm talking, let's be in general, but the thing that I want to say is that sexual marriage, please address this issue. Educate yourself first before talking to your wife. With therapy or with some reading or with some YouTube video. There are very good videos, including mine, about this topic. And if you're having good sex, every now and then, check your wife if you have also a good communication and a good commonality of intent in your marriage, not just sex. So check, have a checkup, every 3 months, every 6 months about your relationship, because sometimes many of you will be disappointed, blindsided if your wife say, I didn't even love you anyway. Let me know what do you think in the comments, and if you agree with what I say, put a like, and then I'll see you in the next videos.